Where is wisdom? Like, where is it? How do you find it? How do you get to it? How do you track it down? Well, we need to know what it is so we know what we're tracking. By wisdom, I mean that thing, that something that defines meaning, the meaning for our lives, meaning in this life, that can assign proper value to its various parts. That helps us to navigate this course of life and lead us to satisfaction, to joy, to build our life. So, where is it? In the book of Job, as he's having this dialogue back and forth with his self-presumed comforters that are there, he says in chapter 28, surely there is a mine for silver and a place where they refine gold. Iron is taken up from the dust and copper is smelted from the rock. Man puts an end to darkness to the furthest limit. He searches out the rock in gloom and deep shadow. He sinks in a shaft far from habitation, forgotten by the foot, down below into the earth. They hang and swing to and fro, far from men. And he goes on as they seach and overturn these rocks and find all these valuable things. But then in verse 12, where can wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, nor is it found in the land of the living. Where does wisdom come from? Down in verse 20. And where is the place of understanding? Thus it is hidden from the eyes of all the living and concealed from the birds of the sky. Abaddon and death say, oh, with our ears we have heard a report of it. So death, he's personifying here, is speaking, saying, we have heard reports of it. So death has heard a report of it, heard rumor of it, this elusive thing, wisdom. And, on my walk this morning, I heard hints of death's discovery, I would say, as well as the wind was at play, and I heard the chattering about me, thousands and thousands of leaves. And every one of them having, no clue that in just a breath, in an instant, one by one, they would fall. And their life from their tree was just so brief. And, it's so difficult to see our own finality or finiteness. And, I can't help but, wonder is that, if they looked around, would they begin to see their neighbors beginning to slip from the branch and fall, and maybe begin to lead them to ask the questions like, well, wait a minute, what is the nature of my existence? How short it is, in seeing their fate portrayed in the neighbors falling around them, the people that they had come up against and chattered away and in the trees with. That, is there any help from me in my fate? Where did I come from? Could the source of my life be that source of life again? Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 2, it talks about it's good to be in the house of mourning, that because death is the end of man, and the wise take it to heart. Remember, we're searching for wisdom. The wise take it to heart. So perhaps the mine, remember Job describing going down the shaft deep into the earth, searching for these various treasures, but maybe the mine for wisdom turns out to be a grave. And to be wise requires taking death, one's own end, to heart. An animal or a plant, it doesn't consider such things, right? that we have this privilege, though, as human beings, made in the image of God, to view the horizon of our lives and take stock of that, take it to heart. So, okay, so far, am I only preaching hopelessness, right? To furnish the house of mourning as if it's a home? Well, no, that's not the point. That it's that we visit there, and not that we remain there, that we collect something from it. So death arrests our attention, right? I mean, whenever we come across, we smell it, the sight of it, the hearing of it, or the threat of it near us. It detaches us from something of life, and so that if we remain there, just staring at death, staying in the house of mourning as if it's our home, and then we're like the deer in the headlights, right? But the proximity to it brings us an awareness that detaches us from the things of life that maybe distract us and would keep us from finding wisdom. So through death, we find the wisdom that leads to life. So the right effect then, like our imagined leaves, it sends our thoughts to God, to the source from which we came. It leads us to ask questions like, what is the nature of my existence? Is there any help for me? Where did I come from? And could that source of that first life be the source again? And if God is my only hope, have I offended him? That only hope. What could repair my relationship to a holy God? Job 28:23-28 says, God understands its way, speaking of wisdom, and he knows its place, for he looks to the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens beyond the horizon. And when he imparted weight to the wind and meted out the waters by measure, when he set a limit for the rain and a course for the thunderbolt, when he saw it and declared it, he established it and also searched it out. And to man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. So God is our source of wisdom. And it's too late to have already, we've already not departed from evil. We've already taken part in it, so that in Christ, since we have offended God, in Christ we can sever and remove that evil from our lives, the effect of sin removed. He is our source of repair and new life now and forever. There's a poem that I began to write as a kid. That it started off, I don't remember all of it, but is a moment's anticipation is its life in half. And I want to hang on to that phrase for a minute, because if what we're anticipating, what I mean is that when you're looking forward to something, half the joy of it, half of it, the life of that moment, because itself seems like just an instant, is lived out in the moment. But if we anticipate death and stay there, and death eternal, then we're living in death eternal now, in this moment. If we anticipate life eternal, we can experience and enjoy life eternal now and find our way to joy. So I pray you may be active in the sharing of your faith in this most precious faith that we have, leading to wisdom, leading to joy. And I'll catch you on the next video.